This is Tamara coming to you from the Makerspace, and today we're going to learn how to make fairy jars. So today we're going to work with some common things that you can find at home. A jar. We are using a mason jar, but you can use any kind of jar at home, like maybe an old jelly jar or something that you've used and cleaned and ready to reuse again. We have some twine. You can use anything to accent once you have painted it. We have some basic white acrylic paint, some pretty flowers that we're going to accent the jar. We have some Mod Podge to glue some things onto our jar. Very important, some lights to create the whole effect once we're all done. We also have, are you ready to see? Ta-da! A fairy, a beautiful fairy. All right, are you ready to get started? Okay. So, oh, by the way, most important thing, I am wearing an apron. This is to protect my clothes. Please feel free to wear anything that you're comfortable in painting in, but if you don't have anything, cover up so that you can protect your nice clothes. We're gonna start with our paint. I have a nice little paper plate palette. You don't have to do anything fancy to get your paint ready. Put a little dot onto the plate. You don't need that much, just a little bit. Yes, we are going to paint the entire jar, so you know, if you need to put more paint onto your palette, that's fine. But the thing that we want to think about when you're painting your jar is that when you cover it, you don't need it to be perfectly covered, like you can't see through it. You want it to be a little bit opaque and also kind of like some various different types of strokes. It doesn't have to be perfect. Do you want to make sure that it's all completely covered with the paint, but we want to be able to see what's on the inside when we're finished. And once again, this is a mason jar that we had that you can easily get at the grocery store, but if you are eating like jelly sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, or pickles, or anything that has a nice shape to it and nice lid to it, clean it up, reuse it. Make sure that you don't have to recycle it. You can just make art out of it. So you can see I'm not completely covering everything on this jar. I am just making it a nice little easy coat there. We also want to do the lid. So let's go ahead and I'm going to take this top portion out. And I have a nice black lid here, so I'm going to kind of make some little different striations, give it a little bit more depth to it, some texture. I don't want to completely get rid of the black color, I'm just accenting it. I'm going to put this off to the side to let it dry for a bit. And while we're doing that, let's talk a little bit about our fairy. This is a pretty little fairy that we found an image of, and we put it into our Cricut machine and cut it out. But I know not everybody has a Cricut. So what we're going to do is, what I'm going to tell you is that you can always find an image, print it out on the printer, cut it out, make it your own, make something fun that you want to put in there yourself. The sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want to with the fairy. Okay. All right, this is all dry. We're ready to put our fairy into her jar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some Mod Podge. And you notice that I have 2 sponge brushes, and there we go. We don't really need that much, so be sparing on your Mod Podge. We're going to take this other brush and yes, I am gluing the front of my fairy. There is a reason for it, because when I am done, I'm going to put her into her jar where everybody can see. Right, she's all glued and ready to go into her jar. Start with the top, and then you can guide it in. And we're going to actually move her a little bit away from the logo of the jar so that it doesn't compete with our beautiful image. And then you can also take your foam brush to make sure she's completely on the jar. So can you see a little bit? It's opaque enough that you can see her glowing, but you can see her even better once we add the lights. Right, now it's time to put some accents onto our jar. We're going to use something a little bit stronger than the Mod Podge this time. We're going to actually work with the glue gun. Kids, if you're going to be doing this, make sure you do it with your mom and dad. Make sure it's safety first. They're controlling the heat of the glue gun. Mom and dad, please don't burn yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to take our lid here and actually put it back together. And it is just a tad bit still wet. You know, you might make sure that it's completely dry before you work with it if you want to make sure you don't get it all over your fingers, but that's what these aprons are for. We're going to take our twine here and wrap it around the lip of the jar here. And just do a little bit of the hot glue there to anchor it there. Let's just twirl that around, and we're going to do it one more time there. To give it a little bit of anchor, and you know what? Let's give it another twirl around. Give it a little bit more depth here. Get some fun twine stuff going on here. Okay. Try to have a plan before you get started. You don't know exactly what it's going to look like. And then also be prepared to just go with the flow once you're working on it. It's not always going to be perfect, and that's okay. You don't have to have a perfect, look at me looking all, I'm using all this glue, making sure that this doesn't come off once we're done. All right, so now it's time to add our pretty flowers. I don't have a plan in place, so let's just see what we can put together here. Where is our fairy? There she is. So I'm going to add a couple of flowers here. Let's do these 3 here. So a little bit of glue there. Ta-da. And cluster up a little bit. One more here on the edge. I just love the looks of these flowers. They're old-fashioned looking, but they also use paper. They're made out of paper, so they're kind of recycled materials. Okay, you want to add something to the top? Let's see what we got here. So since we used those three colors, I'm going to kind of continue with the theme a little bit. That's a different color, but it's kind of in the same palette there. I'll add this. So we got three different colors here, but they're also kind of in the same idea. Let's add some blue there. And I'll put that on the top. I'll put you in the center here. So cute. What do you think? You like that? You ready to add the lights? All right, now that we are all accented and ready to go, let's put our lights in. Isn't that cute? Okay, let's see what it looks like. And there you have it, our fairy light jar. If you're looking for more craft ideas, please visit our website, arlingtonlibrary.gov. And if you want to know more information about how to do certain things, give us an email. We're at makerspace@arlingtontx.gov. I'll see you in the makerspace.